Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to explore what to do in Module 1. And if you took the opportunity to listen to our Getting Started video, you will remember that I went over the general basics of how to navigate our weekly modules. But just as a review, you are in the right place because you are listening to the instructional video. Every module will have an overview video screencast. Sometimes there will be more than one. There might be one for each week in the module. Sometimes there is no need and I can get it all done in one video. So this week we will have just one video because we only are having 1 week in Module 1. As mentioned earlier, there's always going to be a overview tab page that I recommend clicking on just to take a look at what is happening during that week and looking ahead. We will look there in just a moment, but just as a reminder, you will find the course readings for the week here. This week we have 2 readings. This is not typical. Going forward, you can expect just 1 per week, but this week we have Introduction to Children's Literature as well as Selecting Children's Literature. This is where you will find them, and this is where you will always find them every week. Okay, I'm going to click on the Introduction to Children's Literature and Selecting Children's Literature Overview tab just to help us navigate. I recommend coming here at the start of each module or each week of the module to give you an idea of what's coming up. This week, as mentioned, we're doing 2 readings, Introduction and Selecting Children's Literature, to really give us a good overview of what children's literature is and how we can better understand who we are as readers. Our assignments for this week are 2 reading organizers. This is not typical, but for this week only, we will have 2 Introduction to Children's Literature corresponding with the appropriate reading, as well as Selecting Children's Literature corresponding with this reading. You will also have your first reading commentary due this week. Initial posts are always due Thursday, and response posts to 2 peers will always be due on Sunday. And we have a literacy autobiography due on Sunday that will correspond with the reading embedded within the assignment called Everybody is a Reader. I want to go over the reading graphic organizers with you, but I don't have a direct link here, so I'm going to jump back to my modules page to give you an understanding of what to do. Reading graphic organizers, or RGOs, are always going to look the same. They are the same template every week, just going with whatever reading we're working on that week. Each question should be between 75 and 100 words in paragraph form, checking for proper spelling and grammar. Question number 1, describe a concept or idea from the reading that reinforced or expanded on something that you already knew before engaging with the text. So what was something you already knew about the concept of children's literature, and how did this reading help you really get a better understanding of that? You also may want to use sentence structure that I have here. I like to have sentence starters because I am an early elementary teacher, so this is what I learned from that years ago. So before reading the text, I knew such and such. However, the text reinforced or expanded my knowledge by, and then give me your answer. If you don't want to use my sentence starter, you do not have to, but that is the gist of what I'm looking for in question 1. Question number 2, what do you think was the most important concept or idea shared in the text this week? This idea or concept must be different than the one you wrote about above. So what was something that you really felt was important, that stood out to you, that helped you understand even deeper? Not something you knew before, but hopefully something different. A sentence starter that I have included here would be, of all the ideas included in the text, I think the most important was because. Again, certainly don't have to use my suggestion, but I think it's a helpful start. And then there are multiple try it's, read it's, or watch it extensions included in the text. Identify one try it or read it or watch it extension and explore the suggested learning from the extension. Describe your experience and learning from the chosen extension. I'm going to show you where to find those in the reading, but every single reading will have at least one. So please do not say, oh, there was nothing included this week, I couldn't find an extension. Every single reading does have an extension, some more than others, but pick one that really speaks to you, that interests you, that you want to follow along with. Please complete this reading graphic organizer for both introduction and selecting children's literature and submit on Tuesday. And just to give you an idea, if we were to go to Introduction to Children's Literature, we would check out the reading, we would enjoy the reading, and as we go forward, we will eventually find one of those extension activities. So here, in bold green, try it. Examine the most loved children's book infographic from USC Rosé School of Education. How many of your favorites are on the list? What books do you think are missing? So that's a try it. If you don't like that one, you can keep scrolling until you find another one that you like. Read The Big No-No by Jeffrey Hayes online. Why do you think this book might appeal to beginning readers? So that third question in the reading graphic organizer is always going to be one of these big, bold green questions. You can see there's multiple. So whichever one you want to do, that's where you will find it. Okay, the next thing we have to do this week is our first reading commentary. This is similar to what we call a discussion board. Reading commentaries this week do allow you to have two options. Option number 1 and 2 are very similar. The only difference is that option 1 asks you to go to the library or actually obtain the book in hand in some way. And option number 2 has you do a online search of the book. So I will do a quick overview of option 1 and 2. So steps for completing this RC. Option 1, find 2 pieces of your favorite children's literature. These should be personal favorites. They could also be favorites of your own children if you really don't have a personal favorite. Reread them. As you read, think about what you love about books and take a picture of your book. Make your initial post onto the board, which will be the review of your books. For example, what book reviews should look like. Check out the 3 reviews that all follow a pattern that we are asking you to use for your book reviews. And here are some reviews that you can check out here. Your book reviews need to include the title and author, the age range that you think the book is appropriate for, 1 sentence or summary of the book, a paragraph describing what takes place in the book without giving too much away. Please don't totally spoil the book for us. We might want to read it. 1 sentence offering your personal judgment of the book, and a picture of the books. These would be books that you have in hand. Then, of course, respond to 2 peers by Sunday and review their reviews of the books. Number 2, it's the same thing, except instead of getting the books in hand, you are going to be doing an online search for the books. So there is a page on our module that gives you some suggestions on where to obtain online formats. If you have an e-reader, such as a Kindle or something along those lines, you'll be able to obtain books that way. You are going to include all of the same information as you would in option 1. You're also going to respond to your peers. The only thing that will be different is that your image will be a digital image of the book. It will not be an actual photograph of the book in hand. This post will be due Thursday, as with all reading commentaries, and your response post to your peers is always due on Sunday. Just a quick review of the rubric. These reading commentaries are worth 10 points. 6 points is thoroughly addresses the topic. It's well written, includes proper sentence structure, grammar, and spelling, and it's submitted on time. You get 2 points for including a picture of each book, whether it be your books in hand or the online format. So you must include an attachment of a picture of each book. And then 2 points for each response post. So responding to one peer is 1 point, and the second is a second point. If you do not submit pictures of your books and you do not respond to your peers, your maximum points earned will be 6 out of 10. So do make sure that you get those in. If you would like some assistance in finding some online books, I have this page loaded quite a few times. It's all the same, but here are some places that you can find online books. Goodreads, International Literary Association, Harper at Home, Tumble Book Library. This is a really good resource. Epic or Storyline. Also, public libraries are open for curbside pickup, so you may be able to, and also the MCC library as well. So if you prefer to check out books, then that is a good place to do it. As well as there are some online resources, but be leery because sometimes these sites do require a paid subscription, and I am certainly not asking you to buy a subscription. There's plenty of free options. Okay, finally, our last assignment that is due this week is the literacy autobiography. As mentioned earlier, you need to first read the Miller chapter, download it. It's kind of old looking, but it is an excellent read to give you some insight on who you are as a reader. Once you have completed that reading, you will follow the template. You will want to make a copy of this template and then write on your own. If you do decide to make a copy and share with me the digital version of your copy, do make sure that it is shared so that everyone who has a link can access it. If your share is private, I won't be able to access it. So do double check and make sure your share setting is for people to view with the link. You can also make this into a Word document and submit it that way. Part A, based on the types of readers identified in Everybody is a Reader, what type of reader are you? And give examples that support your response. So examples of who you are as a reader that best describes you. So just a little overview of kind of your reading journey. Number 2, how has your identity as a reader changed over time? Use details and examples to support your response. So give some examples of how you have changed, maybe something that happened in your reading journey. Maybe you started off an avid reader and other things took precedence and now you are not. So if you don't think your identity has changed, why do you think that is? Sometimes we change over time and sometimes we don't. And then, are you comfortable with who you are as a reader? Why or why not? This is not a time for you to feel bad. If you are not comfortable with yourself because you haven't been doing much reading over the years, that's okay. Just tell me, what do you want out of your reading experience? The next, you need to pick 3 of these choices up here and respond to the following. So think back and then describe a reading memory. This might be a time maybe you read with your mom every night and it made you feel so cozy and you specifically remembered it. Describe that here. Decide a storybook or a character that you relate to and describe that character and why you relate to him. Maybe it's Harry Potter. Maybe there's elements of Harry Potter's personality that you can relate to. You would describe that down below. Make a graph that shows the highs and lows of your reading experiences from early years till now. You should have at least 5 events here. And you can just discuss your graph below, or then finally interview someone who you knew who knew you as a young reader. This might be a parent or might be a sibling. Do an interview with them and see what they have to say about your readings experiences. Then down below, I want you to include an artifact, which means a picture of each experience. So if you had a reading memory, maybe it's a drawing, or maybe it's an image of something that really represents that reading memory. If it's a storybook character, it can be a digital image of that character, such as Harry Potter. If it's the graph, you would just include the graph. And if it's an interview, you can include a picture of the person you interviewed. You could do a screenshot if you did an interview over the phone or over text, just some sort of image. If you have any questions, please email me through Canvas. Have a great week.